Imagine a stranger walks into your camp. No introduction, no name. You have never seen this face before. There are no laws here, no police, no contract you can sign. If this person decides to take your food, your weapons, or your children, there is nothing stopping them except the people standing beside you. You have about 30 seconds to decide. Is this person safe? Your entire bloodline may depend on getting that answer right. And you have nothing to work with except a face, a posture, and whatever your gut is telling you in this moment. This is the oldest problem a human brain ever had to solve. Here is what most people assume: that ancient humans were dangerous to each other, that life before civilization was violent, chaotic, every stranger a threat. And there is truth in that, but it misses something, because the same people who faced that danger also built something, a system, not written down, not enforced by courts, a system built entirely out of observation, memory, and talk, and it worked. Start with the face. A 2006 study found that people form a trust judgment about a stranger's face in under 100 milliseconds, not a second, 1/10 of a second, before the person speaks, before they move, before you know anything real about them at all. Scientists called this thin slice judgment, and what they found when they tested it across cultures was not what they expected. People in Kenya and people in Norway and people in rural Japan were reading the same signals, the same micro expressions, the same patterns around the eyes, the same slight tension in the jaw that says this person is hiding something. Not similar signals, the same ones. That does not happen by accident. That is a system so old it predates language. Something closer to what a prey animal does when it looks into the eyes of a predator and decides in an instant whether to run. Your face reading ability is not a social skill. It is a survival tool that was sharpened over millions of years in situations where getting it wrong meant you did not survive to have children. But the face was only the first layer. The second layer was reputation. And in a hunter-gatherer camp, reputation was everything. Think about the Kung Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert. Anthropologist Richard Lee spent years living with them. What he found was that gossip was not a flaw in their social system. Gossip was the system. Every morning before the hunting began, before the gathering started, people talked. Who shared their meat last night? Who quietly took a bigger portion than everyone else? Who was sick and needed help? Who had been short-tempered for 3 days straight? Who told a joke so good the whole camp laughed for an hour? This conversation was the entire legal system, the entire court, the entire memory bank of the community. If a man hoarded food, people did not confront him directly. They made jokes about him, quietly, persistently, until he stopped. If a woman broke a promise, the story traveled to every camp within a day's walk. If you became truly unbearable, if you lied too many times, disappeared when you were needed too many times, eventually no camp would have you. And that was the harshest punishment a hunter-gatherer world could deliver. Not prison, not violence, exclusion. You were known everywhere, always, by everyone who mattered. In a group of 25 to 30 people who have known each other their entire lives, there is no such thing as a private reputation. Trust was not given. It was built slowly, in public, in front of everyone, over years, but strangers were different. When someone from outside the camp arrived, the reputation system had a gap. Nobody knew this person. The gossip network had nothing on them. The face gave you a first impression, but nothing more. So ancient humans developed a third tool: reciprocity testing. You give something small, you watch what happens: a piece of food, a little information, an invitation to sit closer to the fire, something low cost, low risk, and then you watch. Does the person reciprocate? Do they offer something back? Not immediately, not transactionally, but eventually. Do they contribute to the group, or do they only take? Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups found that this pattern is universal. The testing period for a newcomer could last days or weeks. People were not cruel to strangers, but they were watching. Every small exchange was data. Every response was filed. Robin Dunbar, the evolutionary psychologist, calculated that the human brain can maintain stable social relationships with roughly 150 people. That number, Dunbar's number, appears over and over in human social structures across history: villages, military units, ancient tribes. The reason that number exists is not random. Beyond 150, the system breaks down. Strangers become truly unknown. And unknown in the ancient world meant dangerous by default. And when trust broke, it did not end with a court case. When someone in a hunter-gatherer group was caught stealing, real stealing, not a small share dispute, but a pattern of taking, lying, repeated betrayal, the response was collective and quiet. The group simply withdrew. Food sharing stopped. Invitations stopped. The laughter that happened around them started to happen without them. In some groups, the final step was execution. Not for violence, not for murder, for chronic untrustworthiness, for being a person who could not be relied on. Because in a world where survival depended entirely on cooperation, where a bad hunt meant the whole camp went hungry, where a sick child needed 3 adults to keep it alive, where predators in the dark could only be held back if everyone stayed close to the fire. One person who could not be trusted was not just a social problem, they were an existential threat. The most trusted individuals were not the strongest or the most aggressive. They were the most consistent, the most predictable, the people who showed up when they said they would, who gave when they had something to give, who told the same story about themselves in front of everyone that they told in private. Trustworthiness was not a virtue. It was a survival strategy. The most trusted people had more children. Their genes stayed in the pool. Their behaviors got passed forward. That system is still running inside you. The discomfort you feel when someone breaks eye contact too often. The unease when a person's story changes slightly between tellings. The way certain faces make you relax before the person has said a single word. The instinct to give something small first and watch what happens before you commit to anything larger. None of that was taught to you. None of it came from a book or a classroom or a parent sitting you down and explaining how trust works. It came from 300,000 years of your ancestors getting this calculation right, often enough to survive. The ones who trusted too easily were taken advantage of and died. The ones who trusted too little were excluded and died alone. The ones who calibrated it, who read faces fast, who tracked reputations carefully, who tested slowly, and remembered everything, those are the ones who made it. You are the descendants of the people who got it right. Go back to that camp. The stranger is still standing there. You have already scanned the face. Your gut has already returned a verdict you cannot fully explain. In the next few days, you will watch this person eat, share, respond, and contribute, or not. The camp will quietly build a file on them without anyone deciding to do so. This is not suspicion. This is not cruelty. This is the oldest social technology the human species ever built. You still run it every day. Every room you walk into, every new face you meet, every conversation where something feels slightly off but you cannot say exactly why. That feeling is not paranoia, it is 300,000 years of people who were right.